This is the last video in lesson 4, and this is just going to be a quick recap of what we've already learned. So what we learned in this lesson was we introduced you to JQuery and buttons, as well as JQuery selectors and JQuery methods. We did a whole lot of different projects. So you can go through these different projects to help you remember some of the different concepts that you learned. It's also just really helpful to think about what you learned in each project, and then later on when you're building something, try to think about how you could use something like this drop-down menu in a future project. For example, I'll move myself out of the screen for a second. Put myself over here. So here we use a drop-down menu to change the background, and later on in the user profile picture, app, we also use this drop-down menu to give the user a couple different options, pre-selected options of where they're from. So this is just one example of how you can use components on one project for other projects. So try to remember the different things that you learned throughout these different projects in this lesson so that you can use it later on. There wasn't a lot of vocab to go over here in this lesson, but big picture, jQuery is a library of different JavaScript code. A library is just a group of code files that you can use to share objects and functions that are commonly used. So this will just save you time. So if you have a whole bunch of different functions, you can throw it in a library and then give it to other people, or use it later on yourself, so that you don't have to continually rewrite code that is commonly used. jQuery is just one of these commonly used libraries that's used to help you connect the brains of a program, which is JavaScript, to the front end, HTML and CSS. Open source, you'll probably hear a lot in programming. This is just publicly available code that you can view or use. Editing is often controlled to some sort of select users, kind of like Wikipedia. Anyone can use it and view it, but there is some rules around. There are some rules around who's able to actually edit it. And then finally, just as a quick refresher, in jQuery you have these selectors. This will select a specific HTML element. And then you have methods which perform an action. So you'll select the HTML elements and then you perform certain actions on them. And this can be hiding the element, it can be getting the value of the element, it can be changing the HTML in the element. But this is how you basically interact between the front end formatting of your program and the front end brains of your program. And last but not least, homework before you finish this lesson and get on to the next one is we want you to build a flashcard app. So this is pretty simple, but will really encapsulate a lot of the concepts that you've learned in this lesson as well as prior lessons. You can have as much fun with this as you want and do as much formatting as you want. But the basic idea is you're going to have a flashcard. There's going to be the front of the card and the back of the card. On the front of the card is shown, it'll have a question on it. And then the user will click a button and it'll show the answer on the back of the card. And the user will click the same button or a different button and it'll flip to the front of the next card. And then it'll keep on going through the stack until you're out of cards. So this is just a nice, simple program or app that will allow you to put flashcards on a website. So let's say you want to learn chemistry. This will be a way so that you can take your flashcards and instead of handwriting them out, you can put them on a website. That way you can access them on your laptop or on your mobile phone or let other people access them. Because if you find your chemistry cards, flashcards helpful, someone else might as well. So good luck with this homework assignment and we'll see you in the next lesson.